Greetings to everyone. For our case study today, the energy from Evercamp's power plant needs to be converted and stored as chemical energy so it can be transported to the city to be used. However, the chemical compounds are yet to be determined by the contractors. 3 contractors need to propose 3 suitable organic compounds that can be used to store the energy. Evercamp launched a competition to select the best organic compound for their project. So let's continue.
Pose with the fans. Pose with the fans. Pose with the fans. Pose with the fans.
Greetings everyone, my name is Ilham and this is my proposal of the solution for the problem. I'm going to say, let's use propane. What is propane? Propane is a gas at standard temperature and pressure, but compressible to a transportable liquid. It is commonly used as a fuel in domestic and industrial applications. So it's highly transportable gas or liquid. It can be used to transport in pipeline transportation, ship transportation, or tanker trucks. How propane is produced? First one, natural gas processing. Natural gas is first processed to remove impurities like water, sulfur compounds, and other contaminants. And then the processed natural gas is then subjected to fractional distillation, where different hydrocarbon is separated based on their volume bonds. The natural gas is then cooled, where propane is liquefied and separated. And then after propane is gathered, it will then be compressed for storage and transportation. But throughout the production of this propane must be handled properly to avoid leakage or burning. This is because it is highly flammable and requires proper handling to ensure safety. So why I said use propane? It has high energy density, higher compared to bioethanol, and this can be used for various applications such as heating, power generation. It is also widely available and has an established infrastructure. And then propane combustion emits fewer greenhouse gases. It produces lower carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, particulate matter. However, there is on this propane, which is highly dependent on fossil fuel. Propane is derived from fossil fuels, natural gas or petroleum refining, which is non-renewable. So it's really bad for our environment. But still, I think it is solvable, and I think we can use propane to solve this problem. That's all in my proposal. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Huguan and this is my proposal of the solution to solve the problem. So the chemical that I picked is bioethanol. So bioethanol is derived from agricultural sources such as corn, sugarcane, or cellulosic materials. Unlike fossil fuels, which are finite resources, this feedstock can be replenished through sustainable farming practices, making bioethanol a renewable fuel option. Bioethanol also emits lower greenhouse gas emissions. Bioethanol emits lower greenhouse gases compared to fossil fuels. When bioethanol is burned, it releases carbon dioxide, but the plants used for its production will absorb the carbon dioxide during their growth cycle. This process helps to mitigate greenhouse gases emissions and reduce the overall carbon footprint. The bad side for this chemical are land use and food competition. The production of bioethanol requires a substantial amount of agricultural land and resources. This demand for feedstock can lead to competition for land, water, and other essential resources. Critics argue that diverting crops to fuel production may impact food availability and prices, potentially exacerbating food security concerns. Next is energy-intensive production. The production process for bioethanol involves multiple steps, including feedstock preparation, fermentation, distillation, and dehydration. These processes require significant energy inputs, such as for the fermentation and distillation stage. The energy intensity of bioethanol production raises concerns about its overall efficiency and net energy gain. The production process of bioethanol starts with feedstock preparation. The biomass feedstock such as corn or sugarcane is harvested and collected It undergoes preparation including cleaning and grinding to facilitate further processing. Next is fermentation. The prepared feedstock containing sugar is subjected to fermentation. Yeast is added to the sugar solution, which consumes the sugar and produces ethanol through the process of anaerobic fermentation. This step converts the sugar into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Next is distillation. Following the fermentation, the mixture of ethanol, water, and impurities is distilled. Distillation separates ethanol from water and other compounds, producing a concentrated ethanol solution. Next is dehydration. The ethanol obtained from distillation is further processed through dehydration. Dehydration removes any remaining water, enhancing the purity and quality of the ethanol. Last but not least is denaturing. Depending on the intended use of the bioethanol, the small amounts of chemicals may be added to denature the ethanol. Denatured ethanol is rendered unfit for human consumption, making it suitable for industrial or fuel purposes.
So for the chemical compound that I choose is dimethyl ether, known as DME. The pros of DME is high energy density, which means it can store large amount of energy. And another pros of DME is its combustion produces lower emission, leading to reduced air pollution. However, DME also have its own cons, which is DME is not widely produced and it requires a lot of energy input to produce it. The last cons is DME is stored under high pressure and it is a compressed gas at ambient temperature, meaning it is hard to handle. In terms of production, DME will undergo biomass gasification. Biomass gasification involves the conversion of biomass feedstock such as agriculture residues or energy crops into syngas, a mixture of hydrogen, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. The syngas is then further processed through synthesis and purification steps to produce DME. Biomass gasification offers the advantage of utilizing renewable feedstocks which can contribute to reducing carbon emission and dependence on fossil fuels. However, this method requires specific biomass resources and infrastructure for gasification. Lastly, in terms of transport, DME is stored in ISO containers and transported via trucks, trains or ships. Based on the three compounds given, let's determine the energy content for each compound. To determine the energy compound, Bohm calorimeter is being used. There are 7 steps for this experiment. First, weigh 2000 grams of water on electronic scale to prepare water bath. Second, weigh 1 gram of bioethanol sample with the crucible and put into the steel bomb. Third, submerge the steel bomb into the water bath. Fourth, the steel bomb is then filled with 30 bars of oxygen gas. Fifth, the stirrer is then turned on and records the initial temperature. 6. Ignite the ignition wire to start combustion process. 7. Record the final temperature after combustion process is done. And then repeat step 1 to 7 for propane and dimethyl ether. After the experiment is being done, here are the data that can be concluded. Comparing all of the 3 compounds, dimethyl ether has the highest enthalpy of combustion. The equation that is used for the enthalpy of combustion is Q system equals to negative Q surrounding and Q equals to MC change in temperature, and enthalpy of heat combustion is equal to Q system divided by number of compound. So here are the detailed calculation for each enthalpy of combustion for each compound. Moving on, to determine the spontaneity of reaction, the sign of delta G needs to be determined. If the delta G is negative, the reaction is spontaneous. If the delta G is equal to 0, the reaction is neither spontaneous or non-spontaneous. If the delta G is more than 0, that means the reaction is non-spontaneous. As revealed by the calculation, the delta G for dimethyl ether is negative. Therefore, the reaction is spontaneous. Since spontaneous reactions occur naturally, they do not require additional energy or intervention to get started. This means that once the reaction conditions are set, the reaction will proceed without the need for continuous external energy input or catalyst.
The winner of the contest is Altaf, who recommended dimethyl ether. which is the most suitable chemical that can be used to store energy. Well done, Altaf. You have made your family very proud.